Welcome to Three Men in a Movie. I'm Hans.
I'm Raul.
And the third missing man is Byron. This week we're doing it a little different take because it is a slow movie week in anticipation of it coming out next week. So what are we doing this week?
This week we are taking a back-to-school theme. Some schools have already gone back, and there's even one that I heard in the news, which is weird because it's kind of late now, but whatever. They're starting this upcoming Monday. So because we have a back-to-school theme, and we do like to throw out some movies that you might not be too familiar with or that are from some years ago, and if you're kind of a younger person, then you might not even have heard of some of the actors in it, but you might recognize the films once we say it, and then you do what millennials do, which is Google.
Right?
Yeah. So you Google
and then try to find some way to watch it for free.
Yes. Some way, somehow.
Legal,
Yeah,
illegal,
yeah,
you know.
So we'll start off with the ones that we do like. So these are hidden gems with a high school or school theme. So Hans, you want to tell us one hidden gem?
I'm going to jump in with Stand and Deliver. It may not be a movie that you've heard of or seen unless you're our age, and then you probably saw it in school at some point. I think it came out in like the mid-'80s or late 80s or somewhere around there. But basically, it's about a teacher that takes a group of students who nobody expects to perform well. He's got a rowdy group of high school students, and he basically takes them to the point that they're passing an AP calculus exam,
which is tough for anybody,
right?
But
and it's to the degree that no one expects them to achieve that they even question the results of them even passing. And so it's a great film to watch the transition of taking them from rowdy, don't believe in themselves students, taking them to the point where they actually study and actually believe in themselves and actually are able to pass an AP calculus exam. And so it's, you know, if it's something that you would like to see, where it's about growth and transition and becoming, that would be a great film to watch.
Based on a true story.
Based on a true story, which makes it even better.
Yeah, local. It's the high school was in East LA. I believe it was Garfield, or I believe it was Garfield.
That I don't know, but it's James Edward Olmos plays Jaime Escalante, the teacher, and then we have Lou Diamond Phillips, who plays one of the kind of rowdiest kids that is probably on the lower end of nobody expecting him to do anything, and he gets him to finally cross over the hump and actually take it and pass it. So it's a great film to watch. Yeah,
and Lou Diamond Phillips played either every Mexican you can remember in every film in the 80s and early 90s, or every Native American.
Right.
And come to find out, he's Filipino.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's acting.
Yeah.
Right? That guy was typecast, for an extended period, but he did really well with all the roles. So, in looking at these lists online and school-related movies and talking to people about the movies that they remember that are like their top 10 picks and blah, 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 Hans, what's the number one pick that everyone loves having to do with high school?
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. And I like it. You like it?
It's another one I'm trying to remember if I've seen it or not.
There's no breakfast. It wasn't cornflakes. It was hair flakes. She eats.
Maybe I haven't seen this.
Okay, maybe so you should go back. Played by Ali Sheedy, and she's the weirdo or whatever. Okay, Breakfast Club. I like it, but I think to be on the number one top 10 of all time, sometimes I've seen it in the all-time movies list, it's not that great. There really isn't a story to follow. It's a bunch of kids that got sent to detention, and we don't really know why, so that's sort of the conflict there, where we're trying to figure out why are these kids in detention, because there's some seemingly good kids, like the jock played by Emilio Estevez, or the nerdy girl, or like popular girl played by Molly Ringwald, and they're in detention. They're on Saturday, and they're like not getting along and clashing because they're from different cliques. That all sounds pretty solid, I guess. But there's some parts of the movie where nothing happens. They're just sitting there in the big old library. And then there's those iconic parts where they're like all dancing or whatever, and the soundtrack is great. But it's very highly overrated, especially because of the bully part. Played by, Judd Nelson plays the bully guy. And he's like the classic 80s, 90s bully where he's like wearing cowboy boots and like, you know, jeans with a cut off shirt, plaid, whatever. You know, he's got a bandana in his back pocket. Like
I remember going to school like that, but I think it was nerdy, not bullyish.
Oh no, it's I guess once it hit a certain era, then it was just dumb.
Oh, okay.
But in the
That's
80s,
when I caught on.
The 80s, 90s, that was like the ooh, you're bad because you're wearing whatever the hell he was wearing. So the movie tries to explain to us that no matter what kind of stereotype you fit or what clique you're in, that there's something good and bad in all of us. But he's playing this really villainous, I guess they're trying to make him seem that way, character. And my biggest pet peeve of that part is, why did he even go to detention on a Saturday if he's such a badass? Right? If you're a high school badass who's like into the criminal element of the city and the town, like,
don't you just drop out?
You just go. You don't show up like, I'm here, but I'm not liking it. Like, you just don't go. So that kind of little bits and pieces of stuff like that make me feel that it's kind of overrated. So that's that. Tell us your overrated.
So speaking of movies that a lot of people love that I'm going to throw out as overrated, Harry Potter.
Oh man.
I mean, and there's like 62 of them.
Yeah. Plus more coming.
Yeah. And I don't know. Can't get into it. Can't love it. Don't understand why everyone's so into it. It's you know, I don't know.
I think it's just magical.
It's just magical. The magic hasn't hit me.
Yeah. Well, sorry to interrupt
go
you,
ahead.
but I want to know what aspect of it is the aspect that bothers you the most. I'm sure there's a long list of it, but tell us what really, like, you know, really gets to you about this Harry Potter thing.
It's just I don't understand why people love it so much. That's basically what it boils down to, because it's like, it's just not that magical.
Yeah. Have you asked anyone, like, directly, like, hey,
bro,
why
do you love Harry Potter?
Oh, don't get me into this. Because honestly, at the moment, like, I really don't know why I love it so much, but I do. I really like Harry Potter. I mean, I guess because he's magical and he can, like, you know, wave his wand and he's learning. For me, mostly, it's not even the magic part, it's just the schooling part, where there's a girl that he kind of likes, but they're friends, and he can't really tell her, and there's a lot of moments where they look at each other, and you know they're like thinking that they like each other, but can't say it, you know? That's the part that I like. The magic, I guess, is secondary, at least to me.
Well, I just think it was drawn out way too much and too far, and, you know, it's like they could have taken a lot of it and condensed it down into 2 movies.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
But let me talk about one of my favorite funny films.
Okay.
Let's create a new category of funniest high school films.
Byron, you approve?
You approve? Yeah.
Okay.
Pay for it.
Cool.
So, Superbad. I just laughed from start to finish with Superbad. I think I saw it 3 times in theaters because I kept telling new groups, like, hey, let's go see Superbad. And I laughed straight through all 3 times I saw it. My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, bought me the DVD, and I still have it at home and throw it in every now and then because it's hilarious.
That's why you married her.
That's why I married her.
She was Superbad.
And our first date, according to her, I tricked her into a date. I didn't even consider it a date, but his first movie we watched together, just the 2 of us, was Superbad.
Yeah.
So it basically
romantic.
Ignited the whole relationship.
Wow. If you're going to take a girl to a movie, Superbad is the romantic one to do it.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I was probably like the character, like, she wants to F me. just kidding.
Yeah.
But that movie's just so off-colored humor and so hilarious, dragging it on.
Yeah.
Love it. And the film seemed to really launch a lot of careers.
Yeah.
I mean, case in point, Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Who's now
Academy Award winner.
Academy Award winner. Like, who was she before Superbad?
She was, I don't know, Emma Stone still, I'm sure.
Emma Stone, but I mean, that, and you know, and just so many great characters, so many great comedians in that film, and they nailed it, brought the whole movie together, and it's hilarious from start to finish. Yeah,
Seth Rogen would play the cop in there, and Michael Cera, you were talking about careers launched, and Jonah Hill, all those guys I pretty much can bring out a movie or 2 or 3 a year, and there will at least be a cult following for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, Superbad. I like that. My favorite funny movie that you might have heard of even if you're young, because that one also has a pretty good, solid cult following, is Napoleon Dynamite. Main character played by John Heder, who hasn't done too much as of recent, but he will forever be Napoleon.
Yeah, which is probably why he hasn't done a lot recently.
Yeah, that is it. That's it. I mean, they even launched like the whole thing about every time there's a vote, an election or something,
Vote for Pedro.
the Vote for Pedro t-shirts come out. This last presidential election, I saw a bunch of Vote for Pedro t-shirts.
And he would have made a better president.
Yeah, I think he would have put
if
up
he was
some
actually
numbers.
on the ballot? No.
Yeah, we could have been a write-in vote. Like, okay, Pedro, it's going to be Pedro. But, Napoleon Dynamite, I watch it every so often, you know, like on...
The funny thing is, the first time I saw it with a bunch of not younger people. Nobody was laughing, and so I think their negativity wore off on me, and I hated it the first time I watched it. And then I saw it again, not with that negative vibe, and I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's hilarious. What did I miss the first time? But I don't know, it is definitely hilarious. Yeah.
It's yours forever now.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the not young people anymore. You're safe.
Because guys with skills.
Yeah.
Computer hacking skills.
Yeah.
Nunchuck skills.
Yeah. What else did you say? Bow staff skills or something? Like he spent the whole summer hunting wolverines with his cousins, or like really weird nerdy stuff that I think, like, man, that's what made him so cool. Because I think I must have said a ton of those crappy, stupid things in my day, and
your mom goes to college.
Yeah. And then there's like secondary characters, you know, like the guy who trains Taekwondo or Rex Kwando, right? And his brother Kip. Like, I still quote his brother Kip. Like every so often I'll throw in Kip and LaFonda. Like all that stuff is great. So yeah, like Napoleon Dynamite and Superbad, those are really good choices. Yeah. For anyone, young or old, if you have not seen those 2 movies, you want to have a good time, you want to laugh a lot.
We approve of our choices.
Yes. Yeah. So what are we missing? I gave the one that I don't like. Funny one.
Your best high school film, or most underrated, or however you want to categorize it.
Okay. All right, I'll throw that one in there. Rushmore, starring Jason Schwartzman, who I think that was his first movie ever, and they just kind of threw him in there because he is the nephew or something of one of the Coppolas, so he's kind of in the crowd in film and in Hollywood. But I mean, they gave him a really big opportunity to do a Wes Anderson film, and he nailed it. I thought so anyway. He played Max Fisher, and one of his co-stars was Bill Murray. For you to be doing your first movie and then have Bill Murray in there, who is like a total comedic genius, was amazing.
An icon.
An icon, yeah. Bill Murray is great in it. There's one scene in it where Bill Murray comes to visit Max, Max Fisher, which is the name of the main character in the movie, and he comes to visit him to the school, and he's walking through the schoolyard, and I guess there's some younger kids, the elementary kids from the same, campus or whatever, but they're playing basketball, and first he jumps over the gate and he falls down, and to see a grown man jump over a gate and fall is hilarious, right? And then the kids are playing basketball and some kid shoots it. And he totally packs it. And he doesn't even know
it's like Bill Murray.
It's Bill Murray. And I thought that was hilarious. That's hilarious because it's so offbeat and it's uncalled for. And his characters are usually that way, which is why we like Bill Murray. He'll do some crazy thing like that and then move on. There's no pause for laughter or even the characters around him are not laughing because he's doing some real assholey stuff.
Well, and I've seen memes on Facebook about Bill Murray. I don't know if they're true or not, or if they're just like those Chuck Norris legends, but it's like, Bill Murray walked up to me at McDonald's and grabbed one of my French fries off my plate and ate it and said, "No one will ever believe you," and then he walked off.
And it's making you question it.
But in my mind, I believe that, like, that's Bill Murray. He would totally do that.
Packed the kid, stole a fry,
and just walked off.
Walked off. So yeah, that's Rushmore. The main character in the movie actually inspired me in a way, not directly into what we're doing now, but in a way, that kid like started 10, 15 clubs on campus of things that you wouldn't even think of, like the Beekeepers Club, and like he used his knowledge of bees to set off these bees against his sworn enemy in a hospital. Like
sounds like a great guy.
Yeah. The main character is not necessarily totally likable, which is what keeps you on that ride where you're trying to figure out, like, okay, do I identify with him, or do I think he's a jerk?
And it sounds almost like it's a total contrast from Stand and Deliver, where they're not achieving and not doing anything, and they're trying to get them to achieve.
Yeah.
Where it sounds like he's overachieving, and they're maybe trying to get him to step back and see that maybe he doesn't need to do quite so much.
The kid single-handedly brings back a Latin class where like there's a joke about it being a dead language and he wants to bring it back from the dead. Like that's Rushmore. So if you've never heard of it, seen it, or whatever, look it up. You will enjoy it. And then there's a string of other films by the same director that once you get into that, if you like that kind of offbeat comedy, you will definitely enjoy some of that.
I'm gonna go back and watch it to see if I've already seen it. Like I think I have.
This has been another episode of 3 Men
and a Movie.